Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this session. We'll wait a couple minutes to wait for more people to join, but if you're already here, welcome. Thank you for joining. And today we will be talking about STEM studies, STEM education in the US. And we have Samantha who will be talking about this. She's from the Milwaukee School of Engineering. And yeah, we hope this information is helpful to you and learn more about these studies. And at the end of the session, there will be some time for questions. So if you have any questions, something you want to talk more about, feel free to leave them at the Q&A question feature, and we'll be looking at that. Your microphone and your camera is off. So if you need to communicate with us, please use the Q&A feature and we will look at your questions. Okay, if you want to pass, let's see the next slide and we can talk a little bit more about Education USA and what we do before we start with this topic. So Education USA is a US Department of State network of advising centers. So there is 2 centers here in Spain, but there are centers all over the world that you can find. And what we do is we offer accurate, comprehensive, and current information about opportunities for US study at accredited higher education institutions. What do we do? What do we offer to students? Well, we give academic advising, information sessions like about general topics or more specific like this one, and also in collaboration with US higher education institutions, university fairs, presentations at local schools around the country, etc. What's important to highlight is that all of our services are free. So if you ever need assistance or you need more information about how to go to the US and study, and you don't know what steps to follow or how to do that, you can contact us and we can give you information and assist you in this process. Okay, so for me, this is all I have to say. Thank you so much, Samantha, for joining us today and explaining more how STEM studies work in the US. And I hope you you give us the information we need for to learn more about this because it's very interesting. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, my name is Samantha Frinzi. I am an admissions counselor at the Milwaukee School of Engineering. So today I'm going to be covering some topics for your studies abroad. So what we're going to kind of look at is what is STEM and what can you study with STEM, the different types of universities available, just some general information about our application process, tuition and scholarships, what we talked about as well, and then just a little short presentation about Milwaukee School of Engineering as well. So here we go. First question is, what is STEM? I think most of us have a pretty good handling on this, but it's not a bad idea to get a good overview of it. So STEM degrees can overlap. STEM focuses on creating or finding better answers. So it's very skill-based, process and procedure, logical, provable, repeatable, that scientific method that we're all very familiar with. STEM is going to include all of that, efficient, mathematical, and precise. So as you can see in this little graph here, a lot of common programs and common careers are going to overlap with one another. So if you're really interested in science and math, you're really good at and skilled in those, computer programmer or data scientist might be a good career path for you. Engineering and science, maybe biomedical engineering, which is one of my favorite majors at Milwaukee School of Engineering. So there's a lot of different programs that incorporate all or maybe are a little bit heavier in one over the other that you're able to get all of your passions involved. So many of these programs are well-rounded and can be very technologically innovative for our students. As students who pursue STEM degrees should be passionate about science and math studies. A lot of these programs are going to be very heavy in the math program, so your calculus classes, I should say, Physics is often a very prominent course as well as chemistry. So a lot of those classes are very important for our students to be taking as they're pursuing these STEM degrees. Now, why should you get a STEM degree is a great question to ask. So why study STEM in the US specifically? There's a flexibility in majors here at universities in the United States. You're able to kind of find the program that fits what you're wanting the best, which is very beneficial, especially as everyone has slightly different paths that they want to go through. What also happens in the United States is there's a lot of humanities studies as well. So even though schools, especially at schools like Milwaukee School of Engineering, where you're going to be doing a lot of coursework in those STEM studies, you're also going to be taking history courses or English courses, music courses. So there's opportunities for you to also find your passion in things outside of your career choice, which is really beneficial. A lot of our schools offer state-of-the-art research facilities. So those students that are really wanting to get in on that kind of forefront of the technology and getting the research opportunities, a lot of universities offer those opportunities as well. I would say most, if not all, universities and colleges offer international student scholarships. Those will just obviously depend on the school and what those parameters are. There's a lot of opportunity for bachelor's and master's programs that are combined. So at MSOE, we offer a condensed version of our civil engineering, for instance. So you're able to start taking graduate level classes while you're still a senior for your bachelor's degree. So you're able to kind of shorten your time, but also maintain that those 2 degrees. So that's very beneficial. And other schools offer similar programs to that as well. Of course, these are in-demand career opportunities, and the United States offers a lot of these job opportunities. So we really want our students to be studying in the field that's going to help them gain that financial benefit, like our high starting salaries. A lot of students find that STEM degrees are higher than most other disciplines. And also, the US offers STEM OPT extension. So regardless of what program you'd be studying in the United States, you would be granted a 1-year OPT. So you'd be able to train in the United States, have a job in the United States for 1 year after graduation. With STEM degrees, as long as it is a certified STEM degree, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, you can gain a 2-year extension. So there's a lot of great reasons to study STEM in the United States as we move forward. So some questions to ask when you're considering a university. So first question, seems kind of silly, but does this university offer the program that you're looking for? Don't just settle on the wrong program just because you like the idea of the school. There are over 4,000 different colleges and universities in the US. Finding the program that fits your goals is very, very important. Another really great question, as I kind of alluded to before, is this university focused on research or industry preparation? Are you looking to get into that research field, like as a scientist, as it were, or are you wanting to just enter the industry as a working person in a normal, I should say, normal style of job? What connections does the university have to the industry? So are you able to find internship and job opportunities just based off of the university? Or will it be a little bit more difficult because they might be not as well known for that program in their community as students are looking for jobs? And does this university provide professional societies connected to your major or organizations that are tailored to your STEM interests? So these are programs that Milwaukee School of Engineering offers, but you'll find these at all different kinds of universities and so many more. So a couple of examples are the American Society of Civil Engineers, the NASA Lunar Robotics, our Society of Automotive Engineers. So there's going to be groups that are meant for professional development that you can find at these campuses. So that's just another really key point for students to be looking at as they're looking at United States universities. A little bit about STEM return on investment. So I alluded to this before when we were talking about why study STEM in the US. You're going to make a good amount of money. With our STEM degrees, they can provide a high return on investment. So how much money have you invested it in your education versus what will your salary be after graduation? That's what we mean by return on investment. So while the cost of university education in the United States may be high, STEM degrees typically provide a high return on investment. So you're putting in a good amount of money. However, once you start getting paid your full-time employment, you're going to be making so much more because of that degree. So it is something to take into consideration, but that's why we believe in our STEM degrees. And that's why we really encourage students from outside of the United States to come study with this purpose in mind. A little bit more about STEM. So STEM beyond engineering. Obviously, engineering is such a huge part of this, but think about what is engineering. Is it just soldering? Is it just welding? Or is it, are you looking at things through a different lens? So considering your career options and goals, I also know a lot of schools will offer students the opportunity to talk to professors on their campus if they have questions about, hey, I want to do this career once I graduate. Is this the right program for me? And they're going to be honest with you about that as well. What programs are outside of the usual suspects of STEM? So are you looking at stuff that maybe has a little bit more of a creative side? Or is there just something that maybe doesn't automatically click, like, oh, computer science I know is part of STEM, but there's other programs that's like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. That's something that's very interesting to me, but it is still part of the STEM degrees. And what does a lab look like to you? Does it look like, those classic tables with a Bunsen burner attached to it? Is it a metal shop? Is it a computer lab? All of those kinds of factors can really help you decide what program that you want to do in your career. And then there's also STEM and STEAM. So the A stands for arts, but it means more than that. It's about bringing in creativity and imagination. Many programs are increasingly interdisciplinary. So as technology becomes a vital part of creative process, we're going to find a lot more of the arts that are included in this. So some of these examples would be like game design or industrial design, graphic design, media arts and technology, film and animation, or architecture. You're going to find a lot more of a creative side to that. So if you're like, I really like math and science, but I also really like to draw, or I like to think about how things look, that's how the STEAM side of it gets involved with your studies. Some of our programs are definitely more ingrained with that artistic side, and it's really beneficial for those students who have both sides of that brain, as it were. Some more benefits, we've kind of covered this, but high salaries, there's a growing career field. We find that there's a huge increase of the job market out there that is meant for STEM students. There's a flexibility, so cross-marketability and movement between careers. So even though you may receive a degree in software engineering, that doesn't mean that you're going to be a software engineer for the rest of your life. You can use those skills that you've gained in so many different other programs and other career opportunities. So you're not just going to be pigeonholed, as it were, into one degree. You can really expand on that with STEM because you are using all of the basics that you need in a lot of job opportunities, like logic, critical thinking, all of that kind of stuff. And of course, your technical knowledge as well. There's a high job satisfaction because you're pursuing your passion. You're doing something that is really important to you. And it has a really high impact in society and technologically advancing the world. So you find a sense of purpose as well as having that passion behind it. And of course, it's a very diverse workforce. We have all of you students that are interested in STEM and you're coming from all over. Then that's just contributing to the larger picture of the diversity that is found within these majors. A little bit about our work and research opportunities. So these are some options that can be found on most campuses. So of course there's on-campus jobs, and these are going to be not necessarily related to your major, but they are opportunities for you to gain some work experience as well as some cash all the time. So some examples would be like working in the admissions office, working with residence life, campus life, at the gym on campus. The students can work up to 20 hours per week with an on-campus employment. This will usually not fulfill tuition and cost of living, but it is a nice way to to supply that, or just having your own spending money, of course. There are research opportunities, so opportunities for academic undergraduate research. This is usually offered through different departments. And then we did talk a little bit about this, so CPT and OPT. CPT is for students who use over, like, say, a summer, so this would be with students' internship opportunities, and then OPT would be after graduation. And the majors that I have listed on this screen, these are all majors that Milwaukee School of Engineering offers that are OPT STEM extension approved. So you can see that most engineering programs in the computer fields are offered with that. A little bit more about STEM OPT. So the standard duration of OPT is 1 year after the degree completion. Students who complete a STEM designated program at an accredited institution can earn an additional 2 years, so a totaling of 3 years of OPT in the USA after a degree. Students may apply for additional OPT if they complete a higher degree that qualifies as that same STEM designated program, such as a master's degree after a bachelor's. Just for your reference, U.S. government applies CIP codes to majors that qualify as STEM designated programs. So as you're looking at different universities and you're looking at a specific program, that's a good question to ask that university to make sure that that is eligible for that OPT extension. We'll backtrack a little bit with the CPT. So when you're looking at internships, there's a lot of benefits for internships. So we're just going to go real briefly through what those benefits are. Obviously, you're networking with industry professionals. You're getting a foot in the door. You're able to gain work experience in your field of study. And it's a really great way to test out, like, oh, I thought I would like this kind of career, but maybe I did it for a summer and maybe this wasn't my choice. And you have the opportunity to try it another place, which is really beneficial for students. It's career development. You're learning how to be an adult in a career, which is very important. It's a great resume builder, of course. You can say that I worked at a summer at NVIDIA, for instance. Competitive edge when searching for a full-time job. They go hand in hand. You're building that resume, but you're also saying, hey, I did this and I did a really great job of it. Of course, the opportunity to earn money. A lot of internships now are paid internships, which is really beneficial, of course. You're able to develop and refine those professional skills. So how to send a professional email, how to act during meetings, all those things that seem pretty small, but are really important that you're going to gain as you go through this. There is, of course, transitioning into jobs. So many jobs can hire you full-time if they like what you did during your internship. So you're able to, potentially get a full-time employment afterwards, which is, of course, beneficial and what we want to hear. Real quickly, so a lot of STEM degrees are able to, we just see that a lot of STEM jobs require a bachelor's degree is what I should say. So if you're interested in becoming a computer scientist, for instance, most of those job listings are going to require a bachelor's degree. So that's why we really encourage students who are interested in this field to receive their bachelor's degree in whatever program that they're looking at. So the type of employment really really relies on your bachelor's degree. And then, of course, after that, your master's or your doctoral. A little bit about our graduate schools in the United States. So it's been proven that, or it's been shown that enrollment is on the rise since 2010. So within the last decade and a half, the enrollment in graduate programs across the United States has really grown. Master's degrees holders generally see a prospects increase for their jobs. So they're able to find more opportunities, usually better paying or in leadership roles. So it's really beneficial for those students that are wanting to pursue that. And it's also really beneficial. A lot of students can choose their own pace. So you can complete a bachelor's degree. Maybe you want to go out into the field and get some practice in before committing to a new degree, or you could do it right after your undergraduate and just get that kind of academic learning out of the way and then go into a job that's going to be best suited for your end goals for your career. Some STEM graduate learning. So STEM graduate programs have seen a large growth in that past decade. So overall, graduate learning has gone up, but STEM much more so. 69% of degrees conferred in 2021 and 2022 were in 5 fields of study. And you notice that out of these, they're almost all STEM. So business, education, health professions, computer information sciences, and public administration. So out of that, there's such a huge growth within the STEM fields. And like I mentioned before, similar to undergraduate learning, graduate programs can be eligible for OPT and CPT and the STEM extension. But I do want you to be aware that most graduate programs do not offer scholarships, whereas with undergraduate programs, that is very common. So now that we've covered a lot about what STEM studies look like, we're just going to look at what the different types of universities in the US are. And this is regardless of what they're STEM or non-STEM, maybe they're liberal arts or more generalized education. So what type of degree are you pursuing? As we've discussed, undergraduate, this is usually a 4-year to complete program. 12 credits would be full-time. You can receive some programs such as Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts. Bachelor of Science would be the program that most of you would be receiving if you were to go into a STEM field. And of course, you would need a high school diploma or the equivalent of that to complete that. With graduate programs such as Master of Science or Master of the Arts, you would need that bachelor's program. So you would complete your bachelor's to receive your master's. It's usually about 2 years to complete, and 9 credits are the full-time status. And then, of course, you can go up from there if you wanted to receive your professional practical doctorate or research doctorate. So it just depends on how far you're wanting to go in your education career, but those are our 2 main spots for students to land. Now, the US is a huge country, if you were not aware. We have different regions. Each region has a unique climate, weather, or pattern style. So you can kind of see in this map the different climates that the United States encounters. So I am in that lighter blue section, the humid continental, so the warm summer section. So we have the wide variety of all the different kinds of seasons. Which is really fun. It offers a lot of different opportunities. But if you don't like the cold, you don't want to come into that dark blue section because we do get a lot of cold weather up here, a lot of snow. If you're like, I really can't stand humidity or hot weather, you don't want to go to the south of the United States for those reasons because you're just not going to be comfortable there. Similarly, we have urban versus rural. So would you rather live in a city that has a lot of options and opportunities to get job opportunities, different kinds of restaurants available, maybe better access to public transportation, or would you rather be in the rural setting? So something that's a little bit more further removed, but it's usually quieter, tends to be on the safer side as well. So just things to consider as you're looking at where schools are. It is just as important what the schools offer. We do have a distinction between private and public institutions. So like I said, with over 4,000 different colleges and universities, there's a lot of different variation within that. So the differences with private and public is that the cost of a private institution is generally higher. And I would also say that the size of institution with private schools are usually smaller versus a public institution. Most private institutions will offer a religious affiliation. That is not the case for all, but it is common that if it is a private institution, there is some sort of religious affiliation. That does not mean that you have to be practicing of that religion to go there. You just might be required to take some different courses that reflect that religious affiliation. Regional student diversity can vary. So I would say with our public schools, because they are generally larger, there is a larger group of diversity on that campus. The prestige of institution, I would say it really doesn't matter which one you would go to. There's going to be different ranges for either private or public. And then the degree offerings. Larger schools are tending to have larger degree offerings. So if you are really looking at a lot of different options and you're not sure and you are like, oh, maybe I'd like to go to this or this, the size of the school might offer a different program. So all of these things are to take into consideration as you're looking at different schools. And also we want you to consider campus resources. So what does the school offer for students outside of academics or the pure classroom side of it? So do they have health and wellness? Is there a community clinic that you're able to go to if you're just feeling a little bit sick, that you can go and, you know, get checked out? Is there a weight room or a gym facility that you're able to use? Different kind of support. So are there academic accommodations? Do you need more time to study? Do you want academic and career services? So if you're just wanting to know if you're on the right path for your program to be completed in your 4 years, or if you're looking at internship opportunities, does your school offer that for students? For academic, is there free tutoring sessions? How does tutoring look like? Is there a library that all students can use? How long of the day is it open during the day? And of course, financial resources. So is there financial aid or scholarships, or for students who are U.S. veterans? Are those things to be considered as well? A little bit about athletics on campus. So NCAA is going to be the most common as you go through United States. So there are 3 tiers: Division I, Division II, and Division III. Division I and Division II can offer athletic scholarships. However, Division III cannot per the NCAA. So if you are looking for to participate in athletics and you are wanting to get some scholarship out of that, I would look at Division I or Division II. Division III is just as competitive. You're still competing with other schools. It's just they are not able to accept or offer the athletic scholarships. A lot of schools will also offer club level sports. So sports that are still competitive, but you're not as committed to the time frame of it, and you're able to, you know, maybe focus a little bit more on the academic side. So there's just different levels of what your main focus is on campus. Are you looking to purely compete in a sport? Are you looking to balance that out with your academics? Or are you looking at the intervarsity level, which is just kind of the for fun? It's usually just on campus. You're competing against other students. So there's just different levels to take into consideration as you move forward. Some other things to consider is small classes versus large classes. So why should you consider class size? These factors can contribute to professor attention, interaction, and assistance. So I would say smaller class sizes are generally more beneficial if you're looking to have a more interaction with your professor. They're going to know who you are. They're going to be able to help you out probably a little bit easier than if you're in a large class size. The campus culture, the interaction with peers. Will you know your classmates? Will you work with your classmates? Access to equipment and labs. So if you have a larger class, are you going to be able to do the homework and the projects that you need to? Quality of learning technology. I would say with larger class sizes, they might not offer that individualized care, and overall academic success. And this last bullet point is really a person to person. So I know for myself, I thrive better in a small class size. Whereas my sister, she could do either. She could go in a large classroom or a small classroom and she would be fine. I just knew that for my learning style, I needed to be in a smaller classroom. So that's something that is really important. You obviously want to do well in your classes. So this is just something to think about as you move forward. Now, just some general information about what do admissions counselors look for on a STEM application. This is just generalized as you go towards different schools. Make sure you know what their qualifications and requirements are. So with academics, a lot of schools will be looking at challenging academic curriculum, a high cumulative GPA, challenging or additional math and science courses such as calculus. Standardized test scores can show the seriousness of applicants. So if you've completed the SAT or ACT scores, for instance, and then AP courses as well, if you have those can help your application. And for non-academics, if your school does look at those, such as involvement in STEM extracurriculars, different competition teams if you've participated in, that could be helpful for your application. And if you've already completed research or internship opportunities. And as an additional extra tip, Strong writing skills will show a well-rounded application and ensure your success at the university level. So just some things to kind of think about as you're looking at applying. Cost of attendance. We really want our students to know their financial ability. So some things that you should research before you start applying to school is, what is the cost of tuition and living expenses? That's going to be your biggest thing to consider. A lot of the times, especially with private schools, they tend to be more expensive, but you do get that high return on investment. So just always remember that. But it is a good amount of money that will be put in early on. As you look at that financial side, what are the scholarship opportunities? Are they merit-based or need-based, or perhaps both? Merit-based scholarships are what MSOE offers to our international students. So depending on, and we base that off of your GPA, and that can range between $25,000 per year and $32,000 per year. So it really just depends on what your GPA is, but that's how MSOE operates. Other schools are going to operate differently, but it is very important to understand that before you get into your application, and you look at a school that you really love and unfortunately cannot afford. Health insurance is usually required within the United States, so that is an additional fee. The cost of transportation. How are you going to get to a school? Is it going to be a big airplane ride? That can be a huge thing to consider as well. And from that point, are you going to be traveling home during the summer? Is that something that you can financially afford? And of course, off-campus considerations. So if you're living off campus, you have to pay for renting and housing, meals, and other miscellaneous costs. So just things that we really want students to be cognizant of as they go forward with their applications. You can see on the screen, this is what MSOE requires for our students to supply after they've been admitted and they want to come to MSOE, that they have to show that they can afford what MSOE needs. I think this is pretty common practice with other schools as well, but this is just really something to keep in mind as you're going forward with that. So we're going to spend now just the last couple of minutes of my presentation about what MSOE is, what we have to offer, and then we'll have some time for questions. So here we go. So some quick facts about MSOE. So we are ranked in the top 10 undergraduate engineering in the United States. We are a very small school. We have just under 3,000 students on campus. So for us being a small private university, we're really excited to be ranked so highly within the entirety of the United States. We have a 99% average job outcome rate. So students who complete their program at MSOE are more than guaranteed to get a job after graduation. If not a job, a lot of our students will go to master's programs as well. So the average starting salary is around $76,000 per year. So we really believe in our high return on investment. We've actually been ranked #1 for return on investment in the state of Wisconsin. So yes, we are a little bit more on the expensive side, but our students really get paid back for that once they graduate. We have a really great student to faculty ratio of 13:1. So you're going to be in really small class sizes. I would say our class sizes are probably around 15 to 25 students per class. So you're really able to know your professors. They know you, you know your classmates. So you're really able to make that connection in that team as you go forward. We offer hands-on learning, industry expert professors, and we're technologically driven in our learning. So hands-on learning is so important. You're going to be doing lab work. You're going to be, because we have the small class sizes, you're not going to be looking over someone's shoulder as you're doing the lab work. You're going to be doing it yourself. We actually have more labs on campus than classrooms itself, which is really exciting. We also offer a supercomputer on campus, and this is a NVIDIA GPU supercomputer that's focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning. We are very special in the fact that we have a supercomputer that undergraduate students are able to work with. A lot of other schools will have a supercomputer, but a lot of them are only restricted to master's level or beyond. So our students really get to learn that very quickly. And as I mentioned, there is a guaranteed partial undergraduate international scholarship of $25,000 per year. As I said before, that goes up to $32,000 per year, just depending on your GPA. And then we do have a Education USA scholarship of $3,000 per year available as well. So what programs do we offer? That's a really important question. So you can see on this list what our undergraduate programs are. I would say mechanical engineering is by far our most popular on campus, just because it is a pretty broad program. You're able to do a lot with it. Computer science and electrical engineering, I think, would be the next runner-ups for that. I mentioned earlier about including the arts in STEM, so making it that STEAM pathway. User experience would be one of the programs that really makes that beneficial. So students within our user experience program are focusing on how does for instance, how does an app function, but also how does an app look when you're looking at it on your phone. So these are the programs that we offer for our undergraduate. And here are our graduate level programs. We have less graduate level programs. Our machine learning program is very large, as well as our MBA program. So just opportunities for students to get their master's program afterwards. Our engineering, architectural engineering, civil engineering, engineering management, and business administration are all STEM designated as well. So they are eligible for that OPT extension. And with that, I will open it up for questions. This is my contact information. So if you ever wanted to send me an email, or you can contact me on WhatsApp as well if you have any questions about the what I've covered today or about applying to MSOE in the future. So thank you again, and we will go to Q&A.